I'm still test driving my new indicator here, and I'm going with a new color scheme. I'm using the red's going to be my support on the horizontal there, and all these lines here I drew by hand off this pivot, and just looking for all the connect this top to any top you see or any bottom you see is a valid connection. So it's kind of very crude, but what it actually is a moving average that's self-adapting, because as the market churns through these waves and kicks up on the shoreline like it has a tendency to do, you get the effect of just the crossovers are very sharp, and they're concise. There's no lag in the crossover, and then the window for scalping it looks very obvious to anybody that wants to enter on a scalp and hold it through a swing of like 2 or 3 days. So you can see all this like back here on gold, this double top here window, you get tagged in on a trade here with a pending. Depending if your broker had too wide a spread, of course, then you'd be totally screwed, because they'd say to you, oh well, it just didn't make it there. And then this is the daily stairway tanking on the it's been going down. Gold's been drifting down here. Doesn't seem like it's really from a long-term perspective. If you had sold up here and you're getting out here, it's like you got out here when you sold here. So it's kind of like not a lot of volatility right now in gold. Still walking down this giant structure here, and then these are all the price projections that I created, I guess, just by trying to keep the ones that would make sense for the immediate future. Like here I could put a double bottom on close becomes a top later in the future. So if we do start walking up this blue line, if this blue line holds, and for all the scalpers that entered on that psychotic plunge into uncharted water of this little area here where it's never, it boldly go where it's never been before, but that was the entry window when this breakout became a fake out, or just a place to come in and get a really great price just below 1187 or so change, whatever. Just as long as your order is below here and you're buying low, you're golden on that trade. I mean, it was a nice $25 bounce or whatever. So what's ahead for this thing is this top here is my new bottom. If I'm going to do keep everything the same rule system, so this is now the new. It's a 1202. So at 1202, I mean, come on, people are buying, of course, right? Not to say we can't retest this thing this week, or start thinking about placing orders down here really deep for a bounce up into this becoming the new bottom here at 1188, and then you're going to just start tumbling down. And I guess if I go to the weekly, it's going to look pretty insane, but that's, it's a steep situation. It doesn't look like, it kind of looks like it's running out of gas on the weekly. So I wouldn't want to be thinking about selling $1 million here for of course, I mean, really, if you sold $1 million on any of these swings in the right size positions, all of these things, but look at this constant smashing below close here, and imagine all your pendings living in this window for all that pick up the short-term get her done trade that you don't have to babysit for. This is a weekly chart, so you're waiting for this to happen. Meanwhile, you're watching your account just bounce all over the place, and you're like, wow, I could have got out there, wow, I could have got out there, wow, I could have got out there, wow, could have got in here, wow, I could have. And then, the once it goes over this guy, then it's off to the races. But the other thing I was going to say is on the daily, if you were to do your analysis off the highs and lows as opposed to the close, it's going to be a more precise entry, but your trajectory on the down stairway would certainly have to be, you really have to draw, the lines like this one, this double bottom here, top, almost perfectly, but see that when just kind of nicked it if you're off highs and lows there. And then the blue ones are on close. So if the blue ones were on close and the reds were on highs and lows, then you could organize it in a manner that if you did a price projection, of course, on this one, on the down, I say your price projection would have been here off the highs, and then you'd hang it on the lowest close within there, which is right here. So you've achieved that target down there in price projection into this. Okay, so I'm just gonna destroy this whole thing and then go with just the last known price pulse that I can see that it would just jump out at you here, right here off of this on close, and then you could do another one off of preferably if this could do a different color, but we'll do it off of just highs for the combining the and then I'm going to go and keep it to the rule of the lowest close within there on low. So your window of exit is dead on in price and time there, and of course you have to look for that fractal, and here it would be you have to go scanning for these double tops, and then go for the lowest close within that is going to be this one. So had you sold up into this guy, your target for profit has to be down here. It would make sense to be there. And here is a top becomes a bottom, a bottom becomes a top, and that serves as a perfect there. And there's also like an internal top, so even if you were really go to town on this chart, like up in here, this little crotch area would be a top. Even though it's a bottom, it's a new top to the rest of the world. So like if all your orders are sell here, sell here, sell here, you didn't get filled on that, you're selling the inverted, you're selling into support. And this one is on close, and this one is not. And this one, so in this band here, okay, now the it's gold, right? Okay, so gold, the up price pulse is here now. Of course, here's off of the rhythm, and then if we do it off of the close, in the high and low, we don't have one yet, so you'd have to imagine one here, I suppose. Or you could maybe just forget about, well, I guess you don't want to forget about it. You'd have to build a, but if you're only projecting the next few days, you can get a better, and that's why people trade the cloud. Somebody said the cloud trading was the most profitable. Yeah, because the cloud is basically saying this bottom became a top, and then out in the future, that's going to matter. It's going to matter to the market like this did down here. And it didn't get there, but it came into the undercut. This is the undercut of the whole shelf of the cave-in. So as the market's caving in on itself, so it took out this support here, and that became a new resistance. And then when it took out this support, this became a big problem. And of course now, when it took this out, it was like, yikes. So you got the crushing of that, and then all the guys that rode that up, they're like, woohoo! Then one more spike down in, and then woohoo! So those are really a step in front of the train trades. But so the next train, you have to build yourself some kind of cage out in space here. This would be if you were going to sell this price projection at the moment, you're going to project off of this down into that. No, the lowest. Well, you'd have to go for the lowest close. So you're going to go for. No, just got lost. Okay. Well, at least it's simply down to these instead of worrying about too much. Okay, the lowest. You don't have. I guess this is it. Bizarrely enough, it's not a normal looking price pulse, because how are we going to get there? I mean, I get there price wise, but maybe time wise not. So if you're buying here for your next buy, and then certainly all the bulls are they'll be bailing up into this pivot here. Would be just, and then so here's your new buy zone. Anything in here you're going to buy. Anything you could scale in, just put a ton of orders and put them like $5 apart all the way down to China, and then of course go to the weekly, and of course if you got all the patience in the world for the weekly, then bless your heart. But okay, let me just go to the monthly here and just take this stuff off, and there's sitting in this window where you're bobbing through, and all the scalpers are just going to town on it here. Real scalpers market. Those damn market manipulators. So now here's the monthly resistance stacking up, and once we start taking out those, look out, it's gonna we'll go back up and have to get back to that 1350. This bent part here, this bottom became a failed bottom for the people to get in there, and then so that's the zoom out view, and here's the critical window that goes down here with the top bottom thing. So oh well.